Good evening. Buonasera. Buenas noches. Bonsoir. Figwanaxen. Iskawaran. I'm still working on my Somali. But anyway, welcome, please, and we're so happy you're here. I'd like to welcome our distinguished guest, the school board chair, Hamoud is here, board member Zach Jones is here, our keynote speaker, Frank Centrale is here, and I'd like to recognize the Mayor, Ardell Breedy, is here. Would you please stand, Mr. Breedy? Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. He's been a great supporter of STEM Academy, and he's come to so many of our functions. He was our keynote speaker 2 years ago. It was tremendous. Most of all, I want to welcome not only our guests, but the parents, families, and friends of our 2017 graduates. Without families, our work is hollow. Graduates, would you please give a round of applause to your parents and your families who have supported you all these 4 years? The purpose of high school is you can't even dig a ditch these days without getting a certificate to run some $20,000 machine. So that means when you get done with high school, you're just getting started. And in fact, that is the name of the ceremony tonight. This is the graduation. This is the commencement, the beginning of your life as we welcome you as adults and as you go into the world to pursue your dreams and your careers and your professions. I'd like to present these 18 young people who have completed their preparations to graduate from high school and continue on to college. All of these students have applied and been accepted to college. 4 students already passed their college entrance exams and participated in PSEO by attending Rochester Community and Technical College. PSEO, Post-Secondary Education Options, means the student is attending both Rochester STEM Academy and Rochester Community Technical College. Those 4 seniors who were enrolled in PSEO earned a total of 156 college credits. Those 156 college credits represent more than $30,000 of tuition at no cost to their family. School-wide, we had 16 students attending RCTC. That's 15% of all of our student body. And that's actually, when you look at our juniors and seniors, our 9 juniors and seniors, that represented 28% of our juniors and seniors attending RCTC. Altogether, that's a total of 298 credits, exceeding $57,000 of tuition, plus they got free books, and it was no cost to them and their family. To those people who have been in PSEO, could we please give a round of applause? They're keeping the dream alive. Our Strategy 2018 is focused on every senior graduating in 2018 with a high school diploma and a 2-year college degree. That's asking a lot, isn't it? But believe me, I've worked with your sons and daughters. They're capable of a lot. When they put their minds to it, seriously, they can do anything they want. They can accomplish anything that they put their mind to. And we're so proud of all of our students at Rochester STEM Academy. And when we get to the end of it, we end up with seniors like this. Our program focuses on getting students on campus to experience the real thing, being at the college and learning from college professors. We support them with transportation, weekly seminars, tutoring, homework help, and a culture of support and encouragement to make sure that they'll be successful when they're on college campus. All of this is nothing if our students weren't also giving of themselves, giving back to the community. All of these seniors have contributed over 40 hours of service each semester to the community. And this week, as a school, we surpassed over 5 million grains of rice donated on freerice.com from the United Nations Food Program, feeding hungry children around the world. Give it up for that. Service is giving, and helping other people succeed is the most important part of service, and we expect that from all of our students. These 18 seniors, you guys put me through my paces, you know that, don't you? You tested my patience. But I'm so proud of them. And right now, I'd like to move forward. And we do have several speakers. And our first speaker is going to be the Somali Speech, and that's Habsa Muhammad. Would you please come forward?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mudanayaal imarwooyin maalin wanaagsan dhammaan. Anigoo ku hadlaayo magaca ardayda Rochester STEM Academy oo maanta ka qalin jabinayo iga guddooma salaam qiimo iyo qaaya ku dheehan tahay. Waad ku mahadsantihiin maadaama aad ka soo qayb gasheen maalintan aadka u qiimaha badan. Tani ma ahan tilaabadii ugu dambeysay ee waxbarashadeena. Waa tilaabadii ugu horeysay aan qaadno inagoo isku dayeeno inaan anfacno dalkeena iyo dalkeenaba. Waxaa maanta farxad weyn inoo ah in aan ka qalin jabinayno iskuulka aan ka baranayno luqadda Rabbigeena oo ah Carabiga oo aad muhiim inoogu ah. haddaan nahay dad muslimiin ah waxaa ugu mahad celinayaan nimcadan Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mid labaad waalidkeena oona marnaba meel cidla ah noogaga tagin iyo macallimiinteena oo si wanaagsan kalsooni ku dheehantahay noo garab qabteen ugu dambeyntii waxaan u hambaliyaynayaa ardayda ila qalinjibinayso dhammaan hambaliyo waana ku mahadsantihiin wa alaykum salaam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Habso. That was good, wasn't it? As you know, Rochester is to be a destination medical center. Anyone walking the streets of Rochester has seen the multitude of different nationalities, have heard the multitude of different languages. That is the world, and the world is coming to Rochester, and we're getting ready for it. Our next speaker will be speaking to you in Arabic. Osman Yusuf, would you please come to the podium?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على مسك ختام النبيين المفتتحة رسالته بقول رب العالمين اقرأ. معالي مدير مدرسة روتشستر ستيم أكاديمي الدكتور براين راسي، أصحاب المعالي، أصحاب الفضيلة والسعادة، أساتذتنا الكرام، آباءنا وأمهاتنا الأفاضل، إخواني الخريجين، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. أما بعد، مدرسة روتشستر ستيم أكاديمي يا جنة اليوم والغد ويا زينة الماضي التليد المجدد، كم تغمرنا السعادة وكم تلفنا الفرحة في هذا اليوم الجميل، ونحن نحتفل جميعا بتخريج الدفعة الرابعة من خريجي مدرسة روتشستر ستيم أكاديمي. 18 فدية وفتيات، 18 ساعدا قوية، 18 عقل متقدة، سلكوا طريق العلم أشرف مسلك، صارت عليه قوافل العظماء، وعلى منصات التخرج أقسموا ليواصلوا مسيرة الإنماء، عنهم وقفت اليوم أنشد أحرف رمزا لصدق محبة ووفاء. إنه لمن دواعي الفخر والاعتزاز أن أقف أمامكم في هذا اليوم الجميل لألقي كلمة خريج مدرسة روتشستر ستيم أكاديمي، أصالة عن نفسي ونيابة عن إخواني الخريجين، وإنهم ليثمنون لكم يا أصحاب المعالي حضوركم وتشريفكم لهذا الحفل الكريم. أيها الحفل المبارك، إن التخرج هو تتويج لسنوات من الجد والكفاح في طلب العلم، وأنعم بها من مهمة سامية وعزيزة، فبالعلم تبنى الأمم وبالعلم تتطور المجتمعات في عالم أصبح لا يعترف إلا بالعلم وأصحاب علم. حفلنا الكريم في هذا اليوم المشهود ما أسعد اللحظات وما أجمل الوصول إلى الغايات. إن الإنسان لا يسعد من تحقيق أهدافه والوصول إلى غاياته، وتتضاعف تلك السعادة كلما كانت الأهداف نبيلة والغايات سامية. في هذه الليلة نال صاحب المجد مجده وصاحب الزارع حزده. لا تسأل في هذا اليوم الجميل عن مشاعر الخريجين، فقد تتلعثم الكلمات وتتسابق الأحرف في وصف البهجة والسرور، ناهيك عن فخر الآباء وفرح الأمهات. آباءنا الأفاضل، ماذا نقول وعما نتحدث؟ عطاء وبذل، نصح وحرص وتوجيه، وجوه صادق وقلوب رحيمة، دعوات ساعدة وأمنيات طيبة، خيوط الفرح تزين وجوهكم، وحملات الحب تنير والنقاء تنير قلوبكم. فقل لي أيها البلد فقل لي أيها الأب الحاضر وأيتها الأم الحاضرة، كيف يكون الجزاء وبما يكون الوفاء؟ ومن هنا فليس لنا إلا أن نسأل الله أن يكتب لكم الأجر والمثوبة. كفاء ما بذلتم وقدمتم. إخواني الخريجين، علينا أن نواصل الجد والاجتهاد للرقي بمستوياتنا العلمية والعملية في شتى المجلات، لنجعل مدرستنا دائمة خفاقة في دروب العلم والمعرفة. التحية والتقدير نرفعها من هنا لأساتذتنا الفضلاء الذين بذلوا وقدموا، وتحية مماثلة لكافة منسوبي المدرسة وإداريها وموظفيها والعاملين في كافة قطاعاتها. وتحيتي لآبائنا الأفاضل ولزملائي الخريجين الذين ينتظرونهم الغد المشرق والأمل الباسم. بلدة طيبة ورب غفور، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
There's another language we speak, and it's a language of service. Every year, we have a senior breakfast. And the senior breakfast is served by the juniors. And so the juniors get a chance to not only give service, but to also pay respect to their elders, only a year difference. But we always have a junior speaker at our graduation. Would you please welcome Munira Almire to the stage?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good evening. Thank you all for coming tonight to congratulate the seniors on finishing their 4-year prison sentence. For a group of inmates, I'm really proud to say that they were really happy. And you can see it on their faces right now. They're really happy to finally be finished with high school. But the happiness that they had and the love that they had for STEM, it infused me as well. And despite only being here for 1 year, I love STEM as much as anyone else in this room does. STEM is practically my second home because I saw every single day how much they appreciated and enjoyed being there. Despite barely knowing these seniors for a very long time, I'm glad to say that I know for a fact that these seniors are very strong and hardworking people. I've learned a lot from each and every single one of them, and I know that all of them will be going places, despite if they're joining college or going into the workforce. These seniors are going to be the next game changers. They're going to be leaders. These seniors that you're looking at today are going to be our next lawyers, doctors, engineers, and so much more. They have been so relentless in their pursuit of success that they have inspired the juniors, sophomores, and freshmen, and even the 8th graders, actually. They have been role models to the students, giving the freshmen support instead of stuffing them into lockers and beating them up after school. They were a prime example of what STEMers should be, giving service to the community and being so proud of who they are, being so proud of their culture, being so proud of their roots. And I know they're not going to forget being in Rochester STEM Academy. Their impact on our school and on our community as a whole will not be forgotten. I've met very good people in this class. I've met people who have changed the way I think so broadly that I'm not going to be able to be the same person afterwards. I am so proud to know each and every single one of them, and I congratulate them. Good luck, class of 2017.
Thank you, Munira. We also like to get a chance to showcase those students who have taken post-secondary enrollment options. And we have a PSEO speaker. Would Anfal Sharif please come to the podium?
Welcome, family, friends, faculty, staff, to the 2017 Rochester STEM Academy graduation. I'm so happy everyone is able to make it here tonight and watch us all close one chapter of our lives and open another. Through blood, sweat, tears, and maybe a little bit of cheating, we made it here today, together and as one. 4 long, hard, and amazing years. I remember walking through those STEM doors on my first day of freshman year, not knowing that the friendships that I would make on that day would last a lifetime. PSEO. Yeah, the first time I heard that word, my face was like that too. But PSEO stands for Post-Secondary Enrollment Options. It's where you can go study at a college and get college credit while in high school for free. Yeah, free. PSEO did not only benefit our futures, but it shaped us into the graduates sitting all here in front of you today. It taught us to all get out of our comfort zones, to take on greater responsibilities, and to prepare us for what is yet to come. I would like to give a shout out to the teachers that were there with us from the beginning. The ones who never gave up on us. The ones that preached to us that we can and will be the greatest. The ones that wrote us amazing recommendation letters. I would like to give a special shout out to our principal, Dr. Rossi, for sprinkling a little bit of your wisdom on us every Wednesday at student meeting. Believe it or not, it actually made me look forward to Wednesdays. Shout out to all the paras, because you guys are appreciated for all you do as well. Last but not least, shout out to the parents in the crowd, because I know you guys are all as happy as we are to hear us say we made it. I bet some of you are wondering what got us through these long, hard 4 years. And if you aren't, oh well, because I'm going to tell you guys anyway. The support of our peers would give to one another. The dedication that we had. Our hard work ethic. And knowing that lunch was right after 4th period. On behalf of the 2017 graduating class of Rochester STEM Academy, we thank you all for coming. Have a memorable evening and Ramadan Kareem to all.
Now, you know it's quite common to have a speech from the valedictorian of your class. And when I asked the valedictorian if she could give a speech, she said, you know what? There aren't words to describe it. So, Hafsul Sharif, would you please stand? And can we recognize our class victorian, Hafsul Sharif? Thank you, Hafsul. You're a great example to all of our students. And now, what really makes a charter school work and move forward is its board. The board is the guardian of the mission and vision of the charter school. The board holds the purse strings of the charter school. No nickel gets spent without their approval and without their scrutiny. And so the school board is really one of the most important factors of making the school work. Besides parents, it's the school board. And we have the honor tonight to have the school board chair, Mahmoud Hamoud, to give us a short address.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, guests. First, I prepared an English speech. But after everybody spoke in English, I will give that to the others and I will speak in Somali. Because most of the population here will understand Somali much better than English. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So dhawaada. Kuna guul ka dhiga caruurtaas 18 oo maanta graduate 17 graduate garoobay iskuulkana markii la furay juhdi badan baa galay iskuul iska furan oo iskuul la iska yimaado ma jiro 2010 baanu bilownay inaanu processka in la ogolaado charter school state of Minnesota 2010 markay qaadatay waxaanu shirka ku qaadan jiray Minneapolis intaanu halka tagno markii dambe waanu soo dhaweyno halfway Cannon Falls baanu shirka ku qaadan jiray boardka si loo sameeyo iskuulka u bilaabmo 2010 state ku waxay approve gareysay 2 charter school oo anagu aanu ka mid ahay charter schools kaasna responsibilitygiisa iyo sponsorshipkiisa waxa lahaa Brian Ross who had the executive director was responsible for sponsoring the school stand up, Brian. Let's give a hand to Brian. Not only he participated in the formation of STEM charter school, but at the same time he joined us later and he made it more successful by introducing the BSEO program himself, which graduated at least 72 students graduated from STEM Academy. So we'll mix the two. In 2014, we had 18 students graduate. 2015, we had 17 students graduate. 2016, we had 20 students graduate. And 2017, we had 17 students graduate from STEM Academy. And all of them, 99% went to college, right? Our graduates from STEM.
They've all gone to college.
Yeah.
They've all gone to college, absolutely. Yes.
Let's go. Why the need to have a STEM Academy charter school in Rochester, while we had Rochester public schools which accommodate a lot of students? The failure of the public schools to accommodate and provide the needed support and understanding the background of these students forced us to find an alternative. We found out our students in the public schools were dropping out. The police were almost constantly involved in interrogating students in the classrooms, pulling them out of the classrooms, and then setting up a system where they have to go to the court, and then they get synthesized for going to court. And when you get synthesized for that type of, you think nothing is happening to you. But by creating a record for those students, what happens is they lose employment, they lose college, and they become dropouts. But the STEM Academy is actually accommodating the need of the students, creating an environment where they can succeed, providing mentorship for those students to see other students succeeding. So by providing resources, we have students who are graduating in their class, being accepted in college, and we hope this is just the beginning. By graduating from high school, that will only assure you to go to college. Otherwise, by graduating from high school will never make you get a good job. You will be a laborer for somebody. And if you become a laborer for somebody, you can't make ends meet. But by graduating from college, you create yourself, your value goes up. Your value to be higher goes up. Caruurteena waxay ku lumeen iskuullada. Meelaha aynu nagu ka nimi iskuullada waxaynu ku aamini jiray macallimiinta. Halkan macallinku haddaan ilmaha la daba joogin oo la ogeyn inuu homework ka shaqaynayo, macallinkii waa iska fadhiisanayaa meesha oo imanaya isagu dan kama leh, because iyagana qawaaniin baa xidhaysa inaanay ilmahana idbin. Innagana caruurta qof kasta waa idbin jiray. Suuqa kanu maraya dharbaaxu ku dhufan jiray. War edab daraa samaynaysa. And that's what we call it takes a village to raise a kid. Back home, we had all the community taking care of the children. But here, there are laws which provide the teachers not to touch. But the other thing which makes it more complicated is before you all came from the refugee camps, they teach you to call 911. They teach you of your rights, but they never taught you of your responsibilities. And now it is a community effort. The families, the children, the elders, they have to all take part. Otherwise, we will be all got lost. People can make money, but with knowledge, knowledge never lose. You will have it, you can work any place in the world if you attain knowledge. So I would like first to congratulate the graduates of 2017. Especially my little niece, Anfal Sharif, which I admire really for her efforts. She works, she goes to college, she works almost full time, and she still goes to the STEM. And she is good and listens to her mom. I think we should all be proud of our teachers who made it possible for these students to graduate. It's not from, they cannot do without our teachers who especially provide support and understand the cultural divide between where these students come from and where they come to. They come from a war-torn country, which has its own problems. They go to a refugee camp where you have to struggle to get sustenance for every day. And then they come to the United States where everything is in front of you, but you can't get it. So we have to teach our children to have patience and struggle through education to get it what they want. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Our next speaker came to us 4 years ago through an organization called Compass. Compass is an arts organization that works with the Minnesota State Arts Board and the Minnesota Clean Air and Clean Water Legacy, a constitutional amendment to the Minnesota Constitution to provide funding for the arts. Frank is an accomplished artist, poet, spoken word artist, teacher, coach. He's a tremendous athlete, truly a blessed man. He has been the one who's helped with Jonathan Edwards to put together our spoken word program, which every year just blows me away. And many of you were probably at the Civic Theater on Tuesday showing the fruits of some of those labors. It was just astonishing. I can give you a lengthy introduction to Frank Centrale, but nothing beats listening to Frank Centrale. Sir, please welcome Frank Centrale.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Or shall I say, wow, I'm honored. I'm truly, truly honored. Shall I say assalamu alaikum? Thank you for having me here, graduates, family members, staff, administration, future students, current students. I am truly humbled to be asked to speak to this audience and to speak on behalf of these amazing young people. 4 years ago, I set foot in Rochester STEM Academy, and I had no idea what I was getting into. I was just, as I usually am, excited for an opportunity. I was told by Compass, the organization that brought me down here, that I was going to work in, and these are their words, an all-Muslim Somali charter school in Rochester. Now, I'm from Minnesota, and I have been coming to Rochester for one reason or another since I was a small child, so my first thought was, what? And they said, yeah. I said, such a thing exists? And they said, yes, I've got to see this. And I walked into the doors and started to meet people, many of which are gone. And that first week, I was in for quite a shock. It was a very different school than the school that I came to this past week. And at the end of my first, I believe it was 4 weeks of residency time at Rochester STEM, I had 5 young ladies as stars, star spoken word artists, and a support structure of a couple juniors and a few freshmen that actually would try spoken word. And I learned in my first weeks through research, because I had to find something to connect these students to what we were going to do, that Somalia was known in Africa as the nation of poets. And that's been my hook for these kids ever since. Yes. Yes. And let me tell you about a few of these seniors that were freshmen then. We sat in a room at the end of my last week, and they talked about STEM, and they said, you know, it doesn't even really feel like this is a real school. We don't go on field trips, and we don't do stuff that other kids at Mayo and John Marshall do. And I said, well, why? They said, because of the upperclassmen, they don't do this and they don't do that, and it's just really hard. And I said, well, do you know what a legacy is? I said, you all are freshmen. You have an opportunity to create legacy. You have the opportunity to learn how to advocate for yourself. You have the opportunity to learn how to mentor your peers to create the environment that you want this school to become, that you want this school to be. You have an opportunity to create something that your siblings and nieces and nephews and little cousins that are at the school next door can come to and be proud of. And I had this conversation with Anfal, and I had this conversation with Ishwak, or Wak Wak, as they told me her name was. And Sarah and Marianne. And 4 years later, I walk into a school that is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. They went from telling me how they don't get to go on field trips to yesterday they were performing on stage at Valley Fair. They created a school that has been up to Augsburg College up in the Twin Cities with students performing in front of thousands, including former presidents of the United States. They changed the behavior, of course, along with a lot of guidance, but ultimately the students have to be the ones to buy in. And they changed the behavior and the culture and the identity of Rochester STEM Academy. And I've watched it happen over the course of 4 years as a guest invited in for a week or two at a time, year after year after year. So when Anfal came to me and said, will you please be our commencement speaker because you started this journey with us, I was absolutely honored and said, of course I will, because what they don't know is they gave me an education. They gave me an education on what happens when young people take control of their environment. Yes. They gave me an education into a culture. They gave me an education into a religion. They gave me an education into a community. This community has something that we are still struggling to identify with and find in my descendants of the slavery diaspora African American community. I have to distinguish that because many of these students were born here. This is also an African American community. Yes. And family being the theme, community being the theme, legacy being the theme, mission being the theme. These are things that my community of descendants of the slavery diaspora are still struggling to grab onto and flourish in. And whether you all realize it or not, the Somali community is an example for me of what we we are fighting for in the African American community that is descendants of the slavery diaspora. I remember that first year, I had a student tell me that I was the first black American man that they had ever met that they felt was worthy of respect. And my first thought was, well, what kind of brothers you been hanging around? But when I went home back up to the cities, I told my friends that. I told my family that. I told them that we have a responsibility to immigrant populations that come to the United States to not let the media, to not let stereotype dictate what they see in us. What it is to be African American cannot be determined by Young Thug and Gucci Mane and Fox News and CNN. These young people taught me that. And when I watched Goulet get on the phone for our first spoken word feature at the school and call every parent, and get every parent to come up to the school for our first spoken word showcase, that was community and that was family. And that was an example to me of what should be happening in communities that is not happening in. That was an example to me of the strength of this community. And now I speak directly to the graduates. We talked about legacy 4 years ago. Many of the students that are sitting over there came after that conversation. I remember when Roro first showed up at STEM Academy. You know I'm going to get on you, Roro. And oh, he was mischievous. And I think about what might have happened if Roro had came to that first environment that I came to that first year. He might not be sitting there right now. But because those freshmen that were already there had made a determination that they were going to create a community that was respect-worthy and that was different than the one that they had to look up to when they were freshmen, I look at Roro and I see a young man who has grown immensely in the time that he has been at STEM Academy. And the proof was in the pudding this year when I came back, and he was not running from the responsibility of creating a poem or performing a poem, but instead he was embracing it. And that's major change. Yeah. And all of you, many of you have siblings and nieces and nephews that are either at STEM or will be at STEM, and what you do going forward, graduating was just one cap in the feather. What you do going forward, they're still going to watch. You still belong to the Rochester community. You belong to this community, and you cannot just go, okay, that's done, and exhale, because you have a lot of work yet to be done. You have a lot of examples yet to set. And think about what you represent to Rochester STEM Academy and what you were able to do with the culture of that school, and think about what you can do with your younger siblings and your younger nieces and nephews and cousins and friends' nieces and nephews and cousins and siblings. What example you can set for them going forward when you become even more successful, when you become the doctors, the lawyers, the nurses, the businessmen and women, and the teachers, the educators, the builders, the engineers, the mathematicians, the scientists. You are going to set the example for that younger generation, so you get to breathe and you get to relax for about, oh, a weekend. And then the work continues. Because I've been to college. I know what is ahead of you. I know what it meant to my younger brother when he saw me go off to college. Now my younger brother is a college wrestling coach and has 2 degrees. I know what it meant, yes. I know what it meant to my younger sister when I went off to college, and now my younger sister has 3 degrees. So what you do going forward continues the legacy of what you began when you guys were freshmen at Rochester STEM Academy. And please don't forget that. The journey continues, and you still have little eyes watching you at all times, looking up to you, wanting to sit there and wear that cap and that gown. And then when they get there, you'll be wearing another cap and gown, and they're going to want to wear that one too. STEM is a special place. It really is an amazing place. The fact that it exists, the fact that this staff, I don't know how many of you all actually know what I do, but I work in schools all over the state of Minnesota teaching spoken word poetry. Some schools I've worked at for 10, 11 years in a row. And I don't know if I've ever met a more giving and dedicated staff than the one at STEM Academy, because they do it from the heart. And that's hard to find teachers that do it from the heart. So I have to acknowledge the staff at STEM Academy. I'll close with this. I watched a documentary one time about children in Uganda. And the documentary was about children that were hiding from being abducted as child soldiers. And these children would sneak into the basement of an old abandoned building, and they would lay down blankets and mats over the puddles of water that had started to accumulate in this basement, just to dry it up just enough for them to be able to take the notebooks and the writing utensils and the worksheets that they had managed to salvage from their school that had been raided, that they had managed to escape and keep their school materials, whatever they could keep with them. And they didn't have any teachers. And they had candlelight. And they would hide in this basement on this documentary, and the oldest one would tutor the younger ones, and they were putting themselves through education with the dream of one day being able to come to America and get an education. They knew that the way to survive, to have a better life, was to be able to read, to be able to write, to be able to speak multiple language, to be able to do arithmetic. They knew that that was their lifeline. And sometimes we get, well, no, not sometimes, all the time, we're very spoiled in America. As myself, an American-born person, we're spoiled and we take for granted the idea that we have buildings with air conditioning in the summer and heat in the winter. We take for granted that we have schools with teachers that have college degrees and schools that actually have walls around them. We take for granted that we have reading and writing materials and pencils and pens and construction paper. We take advantage of the fact, we take for granted the fact that we have all of these amenities that so many young people in the world do not have. And we don't always respect it until we watch a documentary like the one that I saw. Those young people understood that it is their own selves that their success depends on. You all are extremely blessed because you all have yourself and the community and the support and the environment to help you with your success. You cannot take that for granted. You must appreciate what you have around you, because so many young people, and I know that your parents and families that have come from war-torn countries and refugee camps, they know that what you all have is a true blessing from the Most High God. It's a true blessing. You all, please go into this world and be great. And it's not always going to be easy. It's no pain, what? No pain. It's no pain, what? No pain. It's no pain, what? No pain. It's the first poem that I performed for the students when I came to Rochester STEM Academy. And I'm so glad that they Remember that. And you guys know those words. It will not be easy all the time, but you have community. You have teachers you can call at any time. You have family that you can call at any time. You have friends. Look around. Look at this beautiful sight. Go off into this world and be great. Change the way people think. Change the way people feel as you have changed me. Represent your culture, both of your countries, your families, your religion, with dignity, with pride, with honor, and with greatness, and most of all, with respect for the Most High God and love in your heart, and everything else will take care of itself. Thank you for letting me speak today and for letting me be the one to send you guys off into the adult sky. Fly, young people. Fly. Fly. Thank you.
I told you he was good, didn't I? Anfal, I really have to thank you for talking about Wednesday and Wednesday meeting, because sometimes on Wednesday meeting we have a student meeting and we turn it over to students, but I always have to have my piece first. And it's not meant to be cliche. It's meant to stay on the path. And I often say, if you want to be outstanding, you got to stand out. How many alumni, how many STEM graduates are in the audience right now? Would you stand up, please? Muna, I see you. There we go. Now, you didn't graduate, Munir, not yet, not yet, next year. Oftentimes, people want you to be independent. They want to say, are you strong enough to do this? Can you get this by yourself? You go take a test in a corner, don't look at anybody else's paper, right? But you know that all of the great things that you or I have accomplished was not done by ourselves. It was done by those around us who supported us. So in the spirit of, are you willing to stand up and stand out because you truly are outstanding, could the parents of the graduates please stand up? Come on, Noel, don't be shy. Parents, they deserve a really big round of applause. They did. Look what they did. Look what they did. Look what they did. And the parents couldn't do it by themselves either. They trusted us at STEM with their children. Sometimes we were seeing their children more than they saw them. Between work and homework and after-school activities, we often saw the students more hours in a day than the parents. And they trusted STEM. The parents trusted us with those students. And I'd like to celebrate, excuse me, I guess I'm verklempt. And I can't do it by myself. I needed a staff that could pull this together. And so I know we're here to recognize the students, but they wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the staff and their parents. Staff, would you please stand up? Thank you so much. So at this time, I'd like to have Mrs. Wilkes. Can you come to the stage, please? This is what you've been waiting for. We're going to do the presentation of the diplomas. This is the moment when the students are graduating. There's some symbols that go with a great tradition like graduation. And I'm going to ask Mrs. Wilkes to explain the honor cords and the column.
Good evening. Thank you, everybody. If you notice, some of our students have some special cords around their necks. If they are wearing a blue cord, a Navy cord, that means they participated in PSEO. They earned college credit while they were in high school. So there are 4 PSEO students here today. And then, if they are wearing a gold cord, it means they achieved academic excellence. They had a 3.5 or higher GPA for their whole high school career. At this point, Sarah Geelani, if you want to come up, she is our junior. She is one of our student leadership members, and she'll be reading the names.
We have a special moment here that I want to have Hamoud help me with here, and then we're going to get directly into reading the, celebrating the graduation.
Assalamu alaikum. Aniga idinku soo noqday. Waxa kale idinkuma soo noqone. Waxa inala fadhida marwadii aniga aanu saaxiibka ahayn Caasha Abubakar Qaasim oo loo doortay la taliyaha madaxweynaha Soomaaliya. Marka waxaan isiri kaalay soo bax.
Assalaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatuh. Waxaa farxad weyn ii ah caawa inaan idinkala soo qayb galo graduation-ka ay sameynayaan ardadan qiimaha badan oo tusaalaha u noqonaya dadkeena qurbaha yimid iyo dhammaan Soomaalida dalka joogta. Waxay u yihiin astaan dadaalka waalidiinta Soomaaliyeed ay ku dadaalayaan carruurtooda in ay iskuulaadka galaan ugana baxaan heerka ugu sareeya. Hadda meesha waxaa nala joogta arday iskuulkana ka baxaysa isla markaas ayagoo haysta maaragtay credit jaamacad ay ku tagaan. Halkan waxaan u soo istaagay wax kale ma aha inaan idin dhiirigeliyo anigu idinka idin la mid ahaa iskuulka aad soo dhigateen baan soo dhigtay ilaa iyo primary ilaa iyo jaamacad baan ka baxay hooyaan noqday haddeerna waxaan nasiib u yeeshay in aan noqdo oo madaxweynaha Soomaaliya madaxweyne Maxamed Cabdullaahi Farmaajo uu ii doorto in aan noqdo la taliyihiisa xagga arrimaha bulshada. Marka waxaan rabaa inaan idin sheego in aad gaari kartaan meeshaas iyo meel ka wanaagsan. Waana idin la shaqeynayaa haddaan aniga intaan halka joogo iyo haddaan maqnahayba anaa idin ah xiriiriyihii dalka iyo dabaddaba. Marka waxaan idinku rajaynayaa guul iyo dalkiina oo jeclaataan waxna u barataan si aad anaga noo bedeshaan. Soo dhawaada.
Now we will be naming the graduates. Marian Abdi.
Staff, you may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen of the graduating class of 2017 of Rochester STEM Academy, you're not graduated yet until you take that tassel, move it from right to left. Will you please stand and present yourself to your community? Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated while the graduates proceed to the recessional. They're going to exit as the music comes up. I think the music is coming up. Gentlemen, you know how to leave. Ladies and gentlemen, you know how to exit? We're going to have to do it without music because I guess we got another technical glitch. Marian Abdi is leading the way.